Hello, Miss Steele here. I am at the bottom. I'm recording what I'm doing with my hands, and we're talking about texture this week. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be making our own sugar skulls for Day of the Dead, and then we're going to be adding a bunch of flowers around it that have all different kinds of textures to them. So it's going to have some actual texture and some implied texture with what we add inside. So for this project, you will want a white piece of paper, a pencil and an eraser, definitely our art tool basics. You're going to want a marker, and then you want something to color in with. You want a black marker because we're going to be outlining our drawing. I have crowns and markers, and then you want some extra pieces of colorful paper. If you don't have colorful paper, you can color white paper and then cut it out to get a few extra pieces of colorful paper. This is what I found in my room. This is what we're going to cut our flowers out of at the end. And then scissors and glue. I'm going to move this stuff out of the way, and we're going to start with drawing our sugar skulls. So sugar skulls are a decoration for Day of the Dead. They got popular whenever they would start decorating little candies that were little skulls with all of these pretty colors, and now it's a symbol for it. So to start out, we're going to start out with the top of our head, and for that I make one round line, and then I bring in the edges of my round line, like that. So it's almost like a C on its side. We're going to make two curved lines on the side, so I go in, out, in, like that. So we made our C, and now we made our curved lines on the side. What we're going to do for this is we're going to bring them in a little bit more, and then we're going to add some bumps, and this is going to be where our teeth go. So I went and made my curved line, my next curved line, and then I added in some bumps for my teeth. What I want to do now is I want to add the bottom. So I'm going to add two straight lines to each side, bring it down, and then bring it together. So I'm adding my lines to bring it together, just like that. And then I can finish off my teeth right here by adding some more bumps for my teeth at the bottom. Gonna add these two curved lines to the side, and then we're pretty much good. All we need to do is add in our teeth. You can add in as many or as little as you want. I think I'm gonna add in a few. So all I'm doing is I'm drawing some straight lines for my teeth. I'm gonna add in a big triangle right here for my nose. I'm gonna make it curved a little bit. So above my teeth in the middle, I'm adding this curved line for my nose. And then on both sides, I'm going to add some eye shapes. And for this, it's going to be like an oval that's a little bit flatter on the edges. So it's like an oval, but a little bit flatter on the edges. And just like that, we have the start. So now we can outline this, and then we're going to go back and add a bunch of really pretty colors to this to make it into our sugar skull, because what they do is they decorate the whole thing with different repeating patterns. So they like to add in a lot of lines, they being the people that first started making sugar skulls. So I'm getting this outlined, and then I'm going to color in my eyes and my nose completely black. So I'm going to color in my eyes and my nose completely black. So I'm going to do that now, and then we're going to start decorating this, and then we're going to finish by adding those really pretty flowers all around. So I think I'm going to get my pencil lines erased, get these colored in, and then we will move on to our next step. Alright, so I got everything colored in and drawn. I think I also want to color my background. So I'm going to use this blue, and I'm going to get my background colored in before I even start working on my sugar skull just because I feel like it needs some color. So I'm going to work on getting this colored in, and then I will be back and we're going to start decorating the inside of this. But I want to get the background colored in because I just feel like it needs a pop of color. I have my background colored in, and what we're going to do now is we're going to start decorating it, and you can use whatever colors you like. Sugar skulls are symmetrical, which means that if you add something on one side, you want to add it to the other side. And a lot of times they kind of use those spooky sort of Halloween things that we see, like spider webs, but they also use pretty things like hearts and flowers. You could use roses. So I'm going through and I'm starting to add in some different details throughout. You'll see, I'll show you quite a few examples, but I'm kind of just going. So I'm going to add a spider web to the top and the bottom, like that. Making for sure it's the same on both sides. And I'm going to color it in using the same colors as well, so they really go together. I'm trying to color lightly so you can still see that really pretty spider web that I drew underneath. I'm using colors, or I'm using crayons for my coloring for the inside of it. I think I'm going to switch over and start using a different color now. Yeah, I think I'm going to add some swirls to the nose. And then some dots around the mouth. So how you decorate yours is kind of where you get to have a lot of creative freedom. Because ours are all going to look different because we're going to decide to do it different ways and use different things. And that's kind of the fun of it. I think I want to use these purples. I'm going to add in almost like a rose sort of shape over here, like flowers, like that. I'm going to add it to the other side. So again, if I'm adding it to one side, I'm making for sure to add it to the other side. And then I'm going to color it in very lightly using the same color so I can still see those lines where I pressed harder. Beautiful. I think I want to go back and I'm going to outline this in this color too, just to use this color some more. So I'm going to keep going through and decorating mine using different colors and different things. And you can do the same. And then we're going to finish with adding on our flowers at the end. So I'm going to keep going through and decorating this. We'll check in and then we'll start adding on our flowers. Alright, so I got mine all decorated, so beautiful. Now I'm going to show you 3 different ways that you can make, maybe even 4 different ways. You can make some flowers with texture. The first, and what I think is the easiest, is taking your paper and kind of crumpling it up. We're squeezing it. We're getting it all sorts of crumpled up. I like to roll it in my hands a little bit. And then you can unroll it, and now you have texture to your paper. So I'm going to take this and fold it in half, and then I'm going to draw whatever shape I want for my flower. They can be round, or bumpy, or spiky. I think I'm going to make these flowers be round. So you can see my shape that I drew, and now I'm going to cut it out while it's folded, just so I can get 2 that are the exact same, which is why we fold before we cut for some stuff. Sometimes we want 2 things of something, sometimes we don't. It just depends. And you can start taking these flowers with this texture. You can even bend them a little bit if you want to before you even put them down. And we can start gluing them all around the border and the edges of our sugar skull. Opening up my glue, and then I'm going to glue these down. So we're going to look at another type we can make. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold this in half, and I'm going to cut out the shape of whatever I want my flower to be. I think I'm going to have this one be just like a big round flower. So I'm cutting it out, And I folded it so I could have 2 of them. And what I'm going to do for these ones is I'm going to cut a bunch of straight lines right next to each other all around my flower, trying not to cut it in half because I want to keep it together, but adding in these lines all around here so I can get my next texture flowers. And then for these, because we cut all those different lines, you can start bending them up, and then that has some texture to it as well. Turn up the brightness a little bit, maybe a little bit farther down. So there's for those flowers, bending on these. I'm going to show you another way we can make flowers with texture. For this one, I'm going to fold it in half, and I'm going to make it wavy like this. And I'm going to get this cut out, all wavy. And then I want this to be a little more 3D. So what I'm going to do for these ones is I'm going to cut a line on the side, add some glue, and then I'm going to bend it and pinch it. And now it still has a flat texture, but it's a little 3D. So I'm going to do that for this one so you can see. I cut a line, add some glue, and then I bend it just like that. So our last one is our orange paper, and I want to fold this once and then twice. And then for this one, I'm going to cut it as a circle like this. And then I'm going to add another line, and I'm going to swirl it in as I'm coming into the center of my flower. So I'm trying not to cut it apart, but just kind of swirl it in. And now we have 2 flowers that have some bounce to them. So I'm going to get these all glued down all around my sugar skull, and then we will be finished. So I'm going to glue these down, and we're going to look at this whenever it is all complete. Alright, just like that. I'm going to focus this a little bit better. This is done. We have all different sorts of textures from the flowers in the background and our crowns. If you wanted to go back and you wanted to add centers into your flowers, you could do that. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I just like to leave them just on here. And that will be it. I will see you guys all next time. Have a wonderful rest of your morning, your evening, or afternoon. Bye.